Welcome to the Planeswalker Project.
Duel Decks Mind vs. Might is the 19th set in the Duel Decks series. It's going to be released on March 31st of 2017, and it'll feature Jhoira of the Gitu and Lavissa Cold Eyes as leaders of the two respective decks. Coincidentally, this channel just covered a Jhoira deck only a short while ago. Isn't that something? It's like we could read the future. But whatever, who cares? We got a pair of sweet looking duel decks coming soon, and it makes me excited to see two characters from Dominaria's history entering the arena. It's also likely going to bring up a lot of debate as to whether or not we will ever return to the plane of Dominaria, but that's a rant for another video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the deck lists, and we'll be seeing what this upcoming duel deck has, and we're going to talk about what our initial impressions of it are. Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, as I will get a cookie for each like this video gets. Yay, cookies! We're going to start with the Jhoira deck. The deck focuses mostly on instants and sorceries, as we could have expected from the red and blue colors of the deck. We get some neat reprints of cards such as Jhoira herself, Tolerant, Sky Summoner, both of which are really fun to play in Commander. Young Pyromancer sees a bit of play, and we get two of him in this deck. Nivik Cyclops is a nice include and great for Pauper Izzet strategies. Grapeshot is also here. Wait, it's banned in Commander. So is Empty the Warrens. Man, whatever, we still got Shivan Meteor, as I like to say. This single creature. Beacon of Tomorrows is nice to have, as with Jhoira, you can play him for only 2 mana using her ability. Repeatable extra turns is always nice to have. Snap comes back, another card that sees Pauper play. We also get a few cards that are of the Storm mechanic, which give you an additional copy of the spell for each spell played before it that turn. This also includes your opponent's spells as well, so if your opponent is playing Storm cards, it's not a bad idea to capitalize on their excess spell slinging. In terms of financial value of this deck, nothing is too over the top price-wise. Beacon of Tomorrows is sitting at about $8 right now, but that'll likely drop from the release of this set. Mind's Desire is like $3 from the Vault version, but again, its original version from Scourge is only like $2. Alright, let's look at the Might deck now. This has Lavissa Cold Eyes, a human who gives all barbarians, warriors, and berserkers +2/+2 and haste. I really like that they chose to give an older legend from a set like Cold Snap a reprint here, along with some nice new artwork. Her deck focuses on more tribal aggression, bringing out a lot more warriors to pummel your opponents quicker. We get a few reprints worth mentioning here as well. Talara's Battalion, which as an elf player gives me great joy to see. Radha, the heir to Keld, Zozu the Punisher, and Kamal Pitfighter are all really cool inclusions and are great commander options. Burning Tree Emissary just got admitted into the cool Pauper Quiz Club with the reprint at Common for Modern Masters 2017, and so the two that we get here can give you some for a potential Gruul aggro deck. Rebel Belt Braiders is also a nice card from this deck, having the potential to grow huge with a single swing. And Baldwar Intimidator makes for some fun shenanigans, turning your opponents into cowards that can't block your warriors. I feel like there should be some sort of moral to that story, but whatever. For the deck's non-creature spells, we get a reprint of Coat of Arms, so to all of you tribal fans out there, please put on dry pants. Increasing Savagery makes a creature ginormous, especially if you cast it from the grave. Again, nothing too pricey in the deck that will make you want to scream. Coat of Arms is about $5 to $7, depending on which version you want. This should, again, make the price drop significantly with the sheer amount of duel decks that get printed, which is a lot. Zozu is about $2, and this is about the most expensive cards from the two decks. How are the decks balanced? I think the decks are pretty fairly matched, not having too overwhelming an advantage over one another. The more aggressive deck, the Lavissa deck, has a pretty mid-rangey curve, with the majority of its spells costing an average of 3 mana. The Jhoira deck has a lot of higher costing spells, but a lot of that higher cost is offset by the ability to suspend them using Jhoira. She also has the ability to slow down the opposing deck using the control spells, which is good to keep the warriors off their tempo. The Jhoira deck also aims to get some of the big turns out using some of the Storm cards. If the deck can last long enough to get some of the finishing spells on the table, it's going to be hard to stop. To come to a close with this video, I will say that these decks are pretty nicely built to combat one another. They're nothing I'd bring to a Friday Night Magic, but they would be fun to keep on hand to play against each other with. There aren't any super expensive reprints in here worth mentioning aside from the few $5 cards, so don't expect to make super big bank off of these. These are designed to be played against one another and of course are best suited for that, unless you're like me and want to strip these cards for Commander Seth, which I will be binding the singles for those. Also, if you would like to see the Commander deck featuring Jhoira we did recently, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget that usual thing of liking and commenting and whatnot. Let us know what you thought of these decks. Will you be getting them? Maybe we'll be covering a deck featuring Lovisa soon? Anyway, links are in the description of the video. Show them some love. I love you guys. Mwah!